Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Good evening. Welcome to episode 523 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that covers the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights, information on HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics, to facilitate the story of HBCU sports athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, A.D. Drew. Joining me with my co-host today is Brian Fulford, the sports rap takeover of the lab on the holiday.
No assignments are due today. No assignments. Don't even bother turning in assignments today. Just come in and sign the roll. And then sit back and relax.
Don't be that one. Don't be that Professor Brian. I'm just asking you, please don't be that professor. you know how when the calendar just falls, especially when you're taking online classes, and the teachers just be like, "Well, you said all assignments are due on Tuesday by midnight. I don't give a doggone that it's a doggone holiday."
Right, and does midnight Eastern time, or is it midnight Pacific time?
See, that's what you got to know what your school's calendar is set on, because they tell you, and don't play that I was in a different time zone crap, because it don't work. You better know if you're in Central Time, it's 11 o'clock, but if you're out there on the left coast, it's 9 o'clock, your local time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM radio studios with the Texas Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University. Today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency, LLC. THG Agency, a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. Brian, holiday. How's it been going for you so far? Show me your hands, Brian. Show me your hands. They all still there. Just want to make sure they was all still there. I ain't gonna make you show your feet.
I appreciate that. I wasn't showing no toes. I hadn't got a pedicure in a while, so I ain't showing no toes.
That's TMI. Of course, it's still not dark where you at, so we have to do that finger check tomorrow, my brother.
Hey, no, I plan on probably staying inside. I don't have any good spots to go watch the fireworks, unfortunately. So I guess I'm gonna be in the house. Once you've seen them, you've seen them all, but they're still fun to look at. I don't care. They're still fun to look at.
And G Boone, thank you, because I really did not realize that it was 15 days between the 4th of July and Juneteenth until I saw that earlier today on somebody's tweet. It may have been something that you sent out, G Boone, but somewhere I saw this earlier today. I never even put two and two together that it was 15 days. I didn't do the math. Imagine me not doing the math on something, Brian. It's like
that's a strange number, 15. It doesn't really have any synergetic meaning. It just, it's 15.
It just happened. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
Coincidence. But yeah. Now, Brian, fireworks for adults. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks are really for the kids. For the most part, for the kids, so they can go ooh and ah and all the pretty colors. And when you take young kids, it's like, oh, what color is that? That's blue, that green, that red. And then as they get older, it's the beating spot, so you can go back on some honeys. You know what I'm saying? As you start getting up there in age, for the adults, especially if you watch a fireworks from like the park or something like that. I mean, are we really paying attention to the fireworks, or are we saying pass me another one?
I think honestly, Drew, I as I heard you talking about
what
this,
I'm saying, pass me another one. You know what I'm talking about.
I do, but I think we have a fascination with explosions because most of us, 99% of us, don't see explosions on a daily. Most of us don't deal with things that go boom on a daily
without running.
As I said, 99% of us don't experience that kind of stuff. So that's why I think fireworks are still fascinating, because it is still fast. Even when, look, down here in the Disney area, Disney shoots off fireworks every night. But I still am fascinated by them whenever I'm in the area and I see them from a distance. I think call me crazy. Maybe it's because I've lived in Florida for too long. It's like watching a rocket or a space shuttle go up in the air. It still is something that you don't see every day. No matter how often it happens in Florida, you don't see it every day. And it still is like, wow. Until we start having automobiles or land craft that hovers above the ground significantly, I think I'm going to always be fascinated by things that go in the air and go boom. Just me.
Something. That's one thing that I have not seen that I want to see is space shuttle launch.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Space shuttle launch, space shuttle landing. I've never seen it. I know our people in Houston. I know the space shuttle typically lands in Houston or California when it lands, and typically takes off from Cape Canaveral there in Florida. So shout out to y'all. Y'all get to see something that a lot of us never get to witness.
Look, it's anytime you're seeing something going. I remember the first time. This is all the way back in '98, and one of the shuttles were actually launching. A bunch of coworkers literally went up to the roof of the office building that we were on, and at first I was like, "Where's everybody going?" They're like, "Oh, the shuttle's about to launch." I'm like, "Really? So where are we going?" And they're like, "We're going up to the roof." I'm like, "Oh, you can see it from the roof?" Yeah. So I went up there, a bunch of folks who don't look like us, but I mean, they were fascinated, and I'm not gonna lie, I was fascinated too, because just by the fact that I could see it from probably about 45 miles from the coast is where I was working, and the fact that it was a clear day and I could see it, and you're just like, you know what, I am kind of fascinated. That I see what y'all see. I see the fascination that y'all see. So there you go.
Look, only thing I got on y'all, I've been up in the arch multiple times in St. Louis, so I still got that.
I did that one time. I did that. I did a in St. Louis as a child. We did a helicopter, one of those helicopter tours. Yeah. My one and only time in a helicopter was over top of the arch in St. Louis. My dad was feeling adventurous, so he's like, "Come on, we're gonna go for a helicopter ride." And I'm like, "What? What?" My mom, I don't know if she even opened her eyes, but she went. she went and she strapped. We were strapped in, but boy, I had all kinds of crazy visions while I was up there. I'm like,
how'd your sister react?
I don't even remember. I don't remember. I just was worried about me and not falling out, even though I'm strapped. Even though you're strapped in and everything, and there's all these.
It wasn't open. Was it an open helicopter?
No,
okay.
No, heck no, God, no. I think I would have done that. It was a closed door.
Okay.
So you could look out the window, you could see the Mississippi, you could see the arch. Hey, that was good enough. Good enough for me. It was cool.
Just glad nobody decided to make a phone call while they was up
This
in
was
the air
this
and
was
called
in
their cousin
hey, this
Ralph.
was 1980 something, Drew. When no phone
You
calls
did.
being made.
Oh, they still could have been a phone call to your cousin Ralph while you was up there.
Man, look, 1980 something. Come on now, stop it.
See, you missed that one.
Yeah, I did.
Or your cousin Earl.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now I'm with
anyway, let's get into some of this HBCU news, man. I want to start here. This came out yesterday, courtesy of HBCU Sports. Howard University's the Mecca Society Collective has announced a name, image, and likeness deal with Last Shot, a Black-owned and operated energy drink company in Las Vegas, Nevada. Last Shot will pay Howard athletes and company stock to promote their products and share a portion of the sales from their premium drink to help the Mecca Society fund Howard sports. Last Shot CEO Mo Owens said in a statement that this strategic partnership with the Mecca Society will introduce student athletes to business and stock ownership. So let's see. Let me skip down. Launched in 2023, the Mecca Society's objective is to help Howard student athletes take advantage of new NCAA rules to secure NIL partnerships, as well as building resources for the Bison athletic programs. Right. Somebody getting into the NIL business and they signed, it doesn't say they signed a specific team. They just said they signed Howard athletes. So I'm assuming there's a cross section of athletes that they've signed there with Howard, or given all Howard athletes an opportunity to promote it. What you think about this, man?
Congratulations to the Mecca Society, Howard athletes, because these are the kind of deals that are needed. I think the number of collectives among HBCU athletic programs is right at about a handful. I know Florida A&M a Florida A&M's first collective, NIL collective, launched their website today. I'm sorry, July 4th, today. So that kind of and I think the other schools are Prairie View, Alcorn, Grambling, that I'm aware of. But this is a good move. I think, I don't know too much about this particular company. I know energy drinks, different people have different opinions. Some people say they're healthy, not healthy for you. Other people swear by their benefits in the instant. I wonder any potential. I don't know whether Howard is a Coke or a Pepsi school. Most schools are either one or the other. So
any potential conflict?
Yeah, how does that work for those particular exclusivity
contracts.
deals,
those
if there's
contracts.
anything like that? Yeah, and those contracts. So it'll be interesting to kind of see. But if it yields a small financial, even if it yielded $1,000 a semester for each student athlete, that's a win. That's a start. It's a win. Now it's a good start, and I think that's what most collectives want to be able to do. They want to be able to partner with a business, and then through that business be able to get athletes to do promotional things or whatever, and then that kind of yields financial benefits for the student athlete. So props to the Mecca Society. Good for them.
Yeah, and if you notice, they're not getting paid cash, Brian. They're getting paid in stock. And you obviously, as a person with a business degree, just like I do, now you've got to go into learning how to trade stocks, learning how to do those projections. Stocks buy low, sell high. Correct. When do you get rid of that stock? Who do you sell it to? So those different things. What market is this listed on? Is this a penny stock? Is it? I'm assuming this is a penny stock. So what exchange is that stock listed on? So all those things that they will have to get educated about when they do these. And Brian, speaking of NIL opportunities, I shared this with you guys earlier. I wanted you to take a look at this, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about this? You know, NCAA passed legislations that you can put advertising on your field now, and then I come across this video on Facebook a couple of days ago where Adidas put their logo on Texas. I don't know what logo that is on the right hand side.
Yeah,
somebody can help you out with that logo on the right hand side. Please help me out with that logo on the right hand side.
I'll tell you what, when I saw this video, Drew, I thought, I didn't see the whole video. I saw the image of just like I thought that was somebody's joke. Like, I thought that was a joke. Like, somebody just put a piece of tape over the midfield and just wrote Adidas on it. I was like, oh, that's funny. Y'all are funny. But no, that's a whole thing. But
that's a reveal.
Yeah, that's a reveal. I mean, good for Texas Tech, good for Adidas, good for Texas Tech. What G Boom says it's a 10-year deal that they signed.
G Boom, what logo was that on the right side? You down in that area. Obviously, we recognize the Adidas logo that was to the left of the Texas Tech logo. Help me out with what logo that was on the right.
That looked familiar.
There we go.
Know where it is. Patrick Mahomes logo. Okay. Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, probably his foundation logo or whatever.
Which makes sense because he's a Texas Tech grad.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Hey, that's positive. You know, I'm a 10-year deal. What do you think the numbers on that is? And you know what's fascinating, Drew? Here's Texas Tech, a school in the Big 12. I mean, they're not hurting for money.
They're still in the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
You laughing, but I'm being serious.
No, I got you. I understand what you're saying, but no, just that's the goal right there for athletic programs. Now, that's what you want, a 10-year deal. When you've got maybe 6 home games a year, so what's that? Probably at least in the ballpark of 60 games in which that logo is going to appear
on TV, because all the games are televised somewhere.
Yeah, and I noticed also what they're doing something on the helmet. And I mean, obviously the logo, the Adidas logo is already on the jersey and the uniform. So and the shoes. And I guess the helmet is just one extra spot to throw a logo. But
yeah,
hey man, I mean, can't wait to see who the first HBCU program will be to get a sponsor on their field, somewhere on their field.
And taking it back to HBCUs, a lot of I won't say a lot of probably half of our HBCUs in the SWAC use their football field. It also dubs as a soccer field. So add in those extra 7 or so home games. Those are other opportunities, 7 home games per year. Those are other opportunities that you may have to have your logo out there, Brian. Just something to throw out there if you're a HBCU fan. Last one before I get into the break, Brian. The oldest HBCU has its accreditation reaffirmed. Cheney University of Pennsylvania has experienced difficulties recently, but the school has made a concerted effort to overcome its difficulties. Monday was a landmark day in their process as the Middle States Commission on Higher Education announced that Cheney's accreditation was reaffirmed, officially removing one of the oldest HBCUs in the United States from probation, according to a report by the Philadelphia Inquirer. So it said the reaffirmation did not come without a fight, and you can go on to read more about this. This is also from HBCU Sports. Anything you want to get on that? It's great to see when our HBCUs, first of all, we should never have a situation where our HBCUs are fighting for their accreditation. But it's great to see HBCUs are able to fight back off of probation and keep their accreditation without what has happened to some of our HBCUs ultimately being forced to close their doors due to accreditation or being decertified due to accreditation issues. Your comments, Brian?
Just congratulations to Cheney and all the people, Cheney University and all the people who worked to get them back up into a place where they can grow, and thrive and grow. So congrats to Cheney.
All right. And with that, we're going to take our first break. You are watching Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. That's Brian. I'm AD. We'll be back in just a moment.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
We are back here on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Brian Fulford, AD Drew on this Independence Day holiday. Brian, before we go any further, let's give a couple of shout outs to some people who are checking in with us. First one in, Brian, take a guess.
Take a guess. Ooh, don't get me wrong here.
First one in.
Probably Chuck Hunt.
You got it. First one in, Chuck Hunt. Shout out G Booms there. Lennon Blow is there. Edward Moore joining us from the grill.
Lennon's got jokes, by the way. Hold on. You don't let that pass by, because I can't wait for August 25th when Lennon sends me a DM apologizing for all the smack he's been talking over the last 2-3 weeks. I love the confidence. But I just want that text via X on August 25th, Lennon. That's all I want. Go ahead.
All right. And I'm gonna throw this out there, Lennon. Make sure you say that to him when he's on the ONG strike zone. So all the family
as well. But I want that August 25th. I want that August 25th tweet. And yes, you can also send it to me on Wednesday. But I want that August 25th after the game. Guys, don't wait long now. Don't wait long. Don't wait too long.
let's see, Evermore is there. The provost himself is checking in, auditing his class on a holiday. Doc, it's a holiday. But I guess when you're in that position, you're always working when you're at the level of a Dr. Cavil.
See, good to know that we weren't spending the whole show talking about grilling tips and eating hot dogs and hamburgers and ribs, because the dean is checking in. So it's good to know we weren't completely off the rails.
There you go. Gail Hinton, what's going on?
Good to see Gail.
Gail, always good to see you. All right, Brian. Media Days start up next week, Brian.
Oh boy, it's time.
It's that time. What's starting off in the SIAC? So, Brian, I'm gonna ask you this. What you think are your top stories or top questions that you would like to ask going into SIAC Media Day?
Wow. Top stories. Well, I think you have to start with who's asking the question, who's next? Benedict had such a strong run over the last 2 years. I mean, unbeaten. Two seasons with unbeaten records. They were the most dominant force in Division II HBCU football in the SIAC. Presumably with a new head coach, many players that were a part of that program's success having either graduated or transferred, it would open the door for other programs. So who's next? Will Fort Valley State continue on the upward trajectory towards being one of those top 3 teams in the program? Will you see Alabama State or not, Albany State? Will Albany State,
wrong ASU?
Yeah, I know. Will Albany State be a strong contender and rise back to where they were? They had a coaching change. Coach Quinn Gray did a great job of keeping the program steady. Now, can he take it to the next level? Some traditional powers, Miles and Tuskegee, have had new coaches over the last couple years. Will Miles and Tuskegee find their way back to the top? And then I think one thing I'm really interested in finding, Edward Waters has been making a nice steady climb over the last couple years. They have one of the elders, this is weird to say, they have one of the elder coaches, elder statesmen in the conference in terms of years at their program. Toriano Morgan, along with Byron Brown at Lane, have been at their school for 4 years, which that is the longest run of any coach of any of the 13 coaches. Is it 13 or 12?
13.
Yeah, any of the 13 coaches, 4 years is the longest run. So will Edward Waters move to a position where they can be a top 3 or maybe even be in a top 2 team? So those are just some of the things that I'm interested to start to analyze and find out. And I think the biggest thing, Drew, is you got to wait to get to that media day to find out what everyone's quarterbacks look like, how many returners, how many new transfers, because a lot of that information is just not disseminated right now,
Yeah, the rosters are going to be a key thing. Who's on the roster? Who's remaining? Who transferred where? We know a lot of Allen's players transferred to Clark Atlanta, but I'm pretty sure there was some other transfers within the conference also that we just may or may not be aware of right now. Brian, you asked who's next. Before Benedict's dominance over the last 2 years, you probably had a good 20-year stretch where it seemed like it was Tuskegee and Albany State dominated the SIAC, and then about a 10-year stretch in there, the back half of that stretch, Miles got into the party.
Right.
So, like you said, will those 3 traditional powers return? Well, I'm not even going to say 3. The 2 traditional powers, because Albany State and Tuskegee are the two traditional powers within the SIAC. Miles was a good dude in up and comer. And really, when you look before Benedict, those three pretty much won just about every championship. Yeah, you had a couple sprinkled in here and there. I remember when Kentucky State and Fort Valley played each other, but you always would have one, if not two of those teams in the SIAC championship game. So what is the direction of the conference? Hopefully I get to sit down with the commissioner. One question I want to ask the commissioner, what's your reflection on year one of divisionless SIAC? Because for the first time since I want to say either 2011 or 2012, the SIAC went divisionless. So, and there were some exciting races there going down the stretch. I mean, 2 weeks into the season, there were 5-6 teams who had a realistic shot of winning the conference. Now, we all know all those teams were pretty much playing for second place because Benedict was pretty much guaranteed a spot. But that race for number 2 was exciting.
Oh, yes, it was. Yeah.
If you remember that last weekend, the schedule gods favored the SIAC because everybody who was in position to take that number 2 spot played in a meaningful game against a meaningful opponent above 500, where if they win, there were teams who, if they won, they went in. But if they lost, and the other team in this other game, in rival games, mind you, if they lose, then that shifts the balance of the power and the nerds and what the nerds say as far as tiebreakers go. So for me, it was exciting that we didn't just have East versus West, and having 2 Eastern opponents playing in the championship game. Whereas if we'd have been under the old format, it would have been Miles and Tuskegee coming down from the West to face Benedict, with Benedict having sewn up number 1 so long ago. That would have made the Fountain City Classic just a meaningless classic. But that added spice to that classic because the winner of that classic had a shot to get in. Now, Albany State won it, but if Fort Valley defeats Albany State and a couple other things happen, Fort Valley is in the championship game. So that's another thing that if I have opportunity to talk to the commissioner, I really want to get his feedback. And what, obviously it looked good from the outside, but from the inside, that you always got to tweak it to make it better. What kind of improvements may they be looking at with the schedule? Also, the new classic, the NFL Hall of Fame Classic, where the 2 champions will meet from now on. What type of impact would that make for the conference, both from a financial standpoint, from a visual standpoint, because they'll get their game on NFL Network, and just from, the teams, and hopefully we don't get a dud the year after one of these teams win the championship where everybody just, coach leaves, all the players leave, and that happens to both teams because of the success of both teams. I hope that doesn't happen during the time of this agreement.
And don't forget, Drew, the postseason bowl, the Florida Bowl. You mentioned the
Beach Bowl.
I'm sorry, the Beach Bowl. I thought it was the Florida Bowl, but anyway, that's the postseason bowl game with the CIAA, some second, third, representative team. Yeah,
we'll say representative.
Yeah, because
and representatives out of both conferences.
Right, they're not the champions, but most likely a second or third place team.
And that's what you had last year, was 2 third place teams.
Right, because the second place teams went to the playoffs, correct?
Where the SIAC second place team did not.
The second
CIAA, Albany State was second.
They didn't go playoffs?
No, they did not go to the playoffs.
And they weren't the rep. Okay, see, I'm gonna get into
The only representative out of the SIAC was Benedict, and the CIAA had both Fayetteville and Union in the playoffs.
All right. So yeah, okay. Anyway, but in general, you're going to get a team that was probably either top 3 or 4 from the division as the representative. So hopefully I said that right.
Yeah, I just hope that bowl game doesn't wind up like the Pioneer Bowl did in the past, where you have.
Well, hopefully they get what you should say is hopefully they get better weather conditions, because the weather conditions for the first year were absolutely miserable.
Yes.
Obviously you can't control Mother Nature, but damn, can you get a little break? That would be nice to get for year 2. So
it looked like April in Florida instead of December in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know Florida rained like that in December. So that was pretty unfortunate. Bad luck for them. Hopefully they get better results in year 2. And one other thing, television contracts, that should be a conversation to be discussed with them signing deals with HBCU Go. How does that affect broadcast entities? We have relationships and contracts with various SIAC schools.
We being Black College Sports Network.
There may be other entities that want to broadcast games. So how does that play into the exposure of the conference? And so those are interesting questions and topics that I hope get asked of the commissioner while he's able to answer them, while you got him. And hopefully we get some insights.
Well, when I get a chance to go back and re-listen to this segment, I'm going to jot down your notes. Hopefully you jot down my notes, and whichever one of us get that opportunity to interview Dr. Holloman, we'll see if we can bring those questions up to him. Let's take a break, Brian. And Brian, on Tuesday's show, we discussed the homecoming games on the FCS level for our HBCUs. Let's talk Division II and NAIA homecoming schedule. When we come back from this break, that's Brian. I'm AD. This is Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll be right back.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
Back here on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Got a couple other people joining us here on the chat. Blue Jacket for Life. No celebrating 4th of July for me. Project 2025, and this country is in a free fall. Whoa. I'm trying to be happy today, but Blue Jacket,
it's heavy.
You said something right there, my brother. I totally agree with you right there. HBCU band talk comes along and says, "Hey guys,
Hell Wildcats,
my man Farasi."
We got jobs, man. We got to keep them black jobs. We can't be giving away black jobs, man.
Farasi, the day I don't show up for one of my black jobs, somebody else, black, brown, or white, is going to take my black job. So
exactly.
I need to show up as much as I can. Man, speaking of Farasi, I talked to Farasi the other day, and once he got to Alabama, and I hope Farasi doesn't mind me sharing this story. He got in off the plane and had to go straight into work. By the time he got off the plane, drove from Birmingham to his location there in Alabama where he's working at, to the high school that he's working at. And he's got no the basic flight. Here was the problem, Brian. He was in his good clothes because he knew he had to meet with the principal of the high school when he got there.
Oh boy!
And they didn't give him an opportunity to change clothes. So my man out there coaching football in Alabama, in that humidity, in Alabama, in his good clothes,
looking like Bear Bryant on the sideline in a suit, and hopefully coach had a fedora or something, to keep the sun off his dome.
Nope.
Wow.
Didn't have that. Didn't have a towel. Didn't have nothing, man. And I hope, Farasi, I hope you don't mind me sharing that, but I just had to share that with the people.
God bless it.
Jeremiah Clark, evening. Deron Waters says, "Hell Wildcats." Hey, y'all signed a quarterback from VUL down there on the beach. They quarterback from VUL last year. I'm assuming that was the. Well, if it's the one that I'm thinking about, he put up some stats for VUL, then VUL played some good competition, and he put up some good numbers there.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, thank you, Edwin. Edwin summed it up right there. Band Talk got jokes right now. I see he had his church shoes on. I hope he had the hard bottoms on too while he was out there suffering on that grass.
Yeah, Chuck Hunt being a historian, love it. Brian actually wore a houndstooth hat. I have no idea how that's different than a fedora, but I will take your word on it, Chuck.
Look, I don't care what it is. It kept the sun off his head. That's all that mattered.
It did.
Emmett Jones, happy 4th.
What's good,
Jeff Roberts, Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride?
Aggie Pride. All right, Brian, let's get back to the meat of this show. On Tuesday's show, Charles and I went over the FCS homecoming schedule for our HBCUs. Today, we're going to go over the D2s and NAIAs. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, everybody. Brian did about 90% of this work, putting this information together. I just helped him fill in a few blanks on some dates that he did not know that I was able to ascertain. So let's start off with September 28th, Brian. First homecoming out the gate on both levels is Johnson C. Smith, and they will be hosting Bluefield State on the 28th. And stop me at any one of these games if you want to make it the other way
around. That's the other way around. Bluefield
is at Johnson C. Smith. I'm sorry.
Bluefield
at Johnson C. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one I just told you about. That I would have got that one right.
Exactly.
Out of all of them. And stop me if you want to talk about any of these games, Brian. October 5th, we've got Kentucky State
hosting Lane.
Lane's at Kentucky State. All right, I'm reading the matrix backwards. All right, I got it now. Central State is at Miles.
Mm-hmm.
And Lincoln of California.
say that. You should start doing that the other way around. It's the just say whose homecoming it is. It's Kentucky State's homecoming. They're playing Miles, and then you got Kentucky State is hosting Lane. Miles is their homecoming. They're playing Central State.
And if I mess up one more time, I'm gonna just let you take this segment over. How about that? And we got the Battle of the Lincolns also on October 5th as Missouri hosts California.
Battle of the Lincolns. Battle of the Lincolns.
Lincoln of California.
You know, how soon before Lincoln, California becomes an HBCU? They're playing a lot of HBCUs, but obviously that's not possible. But I'm just saying, you know, they're playing, they're getting their feeling of HBCU opponents. It'll be interesting to watch how this Lincoln, California team grows over the next 5 years.
I believe there are a Division II team. If I have that correct, they are a D2 team.
Yeah.
So I could see Dr. Holloman doing something crazy as letting them join in football, but I couldn't see them in any other sport. That could be a football only school.
That's crazy talk. That's interesting. That's just interesting. Now you guys did mention the fact that Lincoln, Missouri is moving to a new conference for this upcoming year, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the Great Lakes
from the
Great Lakes,
MIAA.
From the MIAA, but it's Great Lakes Valley Conference is what it's called.
And you said like some of the top tier teams are also moving, so it's like no real advantage. You just just moving into a bigger conference, but you still got the same tough teams moving there with you.
It seemed like all the teams in Missouri that was in the MIAA moved into the Great Lakes Conference along with Lincoln of Missouri.
Oh hey,
now they got 8 teams in the state of Missouri, 15 teams in the conference, but anyway, yeah, your Truman States and stuff like that who tend to dominate, Northwest Missouri State who tend to dominate Division II in a lot of sports are going to be in that conference with them. Let's move on. October 12th, Central State hosts Clark. Fort Valley hosts Allen. Lincoln, PA hosts Bluefield. Virginia State hosts Bowie State. Livingstone hosts Fayetteville State. West Virginia State hosts Concord. You got anything on either one of those games, Brian?
Yeah, Virginia State hosting Bowie for homecoming. Man, that's and really it's a matter of it's a tough scheduling spot for Virginia State because the way the schedule breaks, they play 2 other conference home games in September. And nobody really wants to have homecoming in September. You usually like to try to have those in October. So it just so happens their only October home game is the 12th against Bowie State. And then the next home game is Virginia Union. Well, obviously you're not going to make that homecoming because that's a big crowd anyway. So it's really a tough spot. Hopefully Bowie State doesn't take it personal. There really wasn't too many options for Virginia State outside of that.
All right. Let's move to October 19th. Albany State hosts Morehouse. Clark Atlanta hosts Miles. Lane hosts Central State.
Second time in 3 weeks. Central State is somebody's homecoming opponent.
Bowie State hosts Bluefield State. Moving on down the line, Johnson C. Smith hosts Shaw, and Langston hosts North American University. So that takes care of your October 19th Division II homecomings, Division II and NAIA homecomings. Moving on to the 26th, Benedict hosts Miles. That's 2 weeks in a row for Miles.
2 weeks in a row for Miles being somebody's homecoming opponent.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row for Miles.
And again, that too is another scheduling quirk for Benedict because Benedict, that's in the middle of a stretch where Benedict is on the road
3 or 4
for
weeks.
3 of the 4 weeks. And so in that 4-week period from October 12th to the first weekend of November, the only home game is Miles. And then they play a non-conference game in the first week of October. So really, again, sucks that Miles is the homecoming opponent for the second consecutive week. Don't take it personal, Miles. It really is nothing else that Benedict could do given the way their schedule is set up.
All right. Morehouse hosts Fort Valley. Savannah State hosts Lane. Elizabeth City hosts Lincoln of PA. Fayetteville hosts Shaw.
Second consecutive weeks for Shaw. And again, guess what? Scheduling quirk. Again, that for Fayetteville State. That is actually, by my information, our information, that's Fayetteville State's last home game of the season.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's senior night as well as homecoming on October 26th. Yeah.
Couple of more homecomings. Florida Memorial hosts Ave Maria. And VUL has a homecoming this year. They will be hosting South Carolina Central Christian College, whoever they are.
That's a mouthful.
Ooh.
SCCCC. You keep try to get that one right.
Sounds like a civil rights organization.
It does. Oh man.
All right. Moving on. Got 2 more weeks, everybody. November 2nd, Allen hosts Central State. That's 2 weeks in a row for the city of Columbia.
Third homecoming time for Central State. Third home. So Central State, along with one other school, is the homecoming opponent for 3 different schools.
Central State being homecoming opponent 3 out of 5 weeks. Isn't that what happened to Miles last year? Oh no, that was Benedict 2 years ago. Yes. When they were everybody else's homecoming opponent.
And they ate people up. They hated that. They ate people up though. Yeah.
So if you look at Central State's schedule, 4 out of 5 weeks, including their own, will be a homecoming beginning the first weekend in October.
I will say, if you're Allen University, who would you rather play in October for homecoming? Benedict or Central State?
Well, yeah, you had one more choice.
Well, that'd have been early on. Well, yeah, that would have been the first week in October.
Which ain't no better.
You're right, it's no better. And of the three October games or the 3 games at the end of the season, I would have chosen Central State as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving on down the line, Virginia Union hosts Bluefield State.
That is the 3rd time that Bluefield State will serve as somebody's homecoming opponent in the CIAA.
Shaw Livingstone.
And, third and 4 weeks. 3rd and 4 weeks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shaw Livingstone.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it for that week. And your final 2 homecoming games.
Always
Edgewater.
To have
November 9th. Which is the last regular season game for our D2s. Edward Waters hosts Allen, which is also dubbed as the AME Classic, if I remember that correctly. And Tuskegee Miles. And for some reason, I thought Tuskegee was moving their homecoming up to that September 19th game and leaving Miles as a just senior day because Miles is just one of those games. Maybe I had some bad information on that one, but I thought that's
better.
What I heard.
If I could add in the better date, if I were advising Tuskegee, would have been October 19th when they host Kentucky State.
That's what I said, Kentucky State. That's what I thought I heard they were moving it up to. That's what I think that's what I saw as some early chatter, but obviously that was mistaken. And last one, Winston State they host Fayetteville also on the 9th.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of double dipping the homecoming and senior night thing. I mean, obviously if you could, and Winston-Salem had 2 other opportunities that they too could have moved it up a week. They could have moved it to October 26th against Johnson C. Smith, or they could have moved it to October 12th against Shaw. So I don't understand the reasoning behind scheduling homecoming on the last week, especially that late into November. I don't understand it, but
I will to speak of Tuskegee's defense. Number one, Tuskegee only has 3 home games, which is not uncommon for Tuskegee because they always play at the Morehouse Classic, Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. They are playing in the Red Tails Classic, so that's 2 of their home games that they have this year. The other 3 home games are conference games, and Miles has been probably a traditional homecoming date for many years. The last home game for Tuskegee has been Miles Tuskegee always play the last week of the season. Depending on the schedule flip on when Tuskegee makes it homecoming. Miles tends not to make Tuskegee their homecoming game, but Tuskegee tends to make Miles their homecoming game. And I know it's been that way a lot of times in the last 10 years or so. And they used to play Kentucky State the week before Miles, and those 2 would be the 2 homecoming opponents. So, any of those games tickle your fancy there, Brian?
What, you mean the last week?
Or those last couple of weeks? November homecomings, any of them tickle your fancy?
I mean, just how big those games are. You know, Edward Waters Allen, Tuskegee Miles. Tuskegee Miles could determine
a playoff spot. I mean, a championship spot.
A championship spot. So,
yeah. All right. Well, with that, we'll come back after the break and we'll close out with some more news and notes and talk a little bit about your entrees today on 4th of July. Somebody put that menu in the chat while we're going on break and make me jealous for the plate that I did not get.
Exactly. Even though I'm cooking something and I got something cooking. I don't think I'll get to eat it because it's kind of late. So I kind of just serve as lunch for tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Make us jealous in the chat, y'all. Show off that menu for the day. We'll be back right here on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Brian, AD.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cookout Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cookout.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, Visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
I don't want to mess up your groove there, man.
That's all right. That's all right. You know, I love the theme song. I love the theme song. So
back here on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with the sports rap takeover of the lab. Brian and AD here. Hey, Brian, what is a 4th of July without Joey Chestnut or Kobayashi in the hot dog eating contest?
Well, you found out this year because neither one of those two gentlemen were in the contest. I tell you what, it was interesting to watch. I got to share this because since you brought it up, the guy who does the introductions, that is when I do like student pep rallies, like at my high school, I strive to be that good. He set up one guy's introduction basically saying that I'm going to paraphrase, try to be real quick here. He basically said this competitor plays some video games, Legends 7, played it so much that his girlfriend said that they needed to reevaluate their relationship. He was ecstatic because it gave him more time to focus on competitive eating. And with that, he has become a competitive eater that has done X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. I mean, basically flipped the whole, like this guy's whole, you would have thought this guy was a loser at first, the way he set it up. And then he totally flipped it. And like, it was great. It was great. So anyway, yeah, you know, a guy who came out of retirement ended up winning the hot dog eating contest. I was mad I didn't get a chance to lay some action on it, Drew, because
how do you come out of retirement for the hot dog eating contest? You break your diet?
Well, the guy apparently had been a former professional eater, and I guess he got tired of losing to Joey Chestnut. I'm guessing. And this is the 1 year where Chestnut's not there, so it was like, hell, let me come back. This is a good time to come back. And sure enough, I was listening to the radio this morning, you know, where I get some information, and somebody said, watch for this guy. Look the wager on this guy to win. And his odds were long, Drew. I mean, $10 would have paid for a couple of dinners. That's all I'm gonna say. And I was so mad when I saw that this dude had won. I was like, oh, damn it.
Texas steak dinners.
Yes. It would have paid for some Texas steak dinners, some Kobe dinners, and maybe even a few Texas Brazil dinners as well.
I got you. Let me get into this story why it's still on my mind before I get into more of this 4th of July stuff, July 4th stuff. Last story that I wanted to get into is now my mouse don't want to act right on my computer screen. Uh-oh. This comes courtesy of HBCU Game Day. HBCU athletic director appointed to NCAA football oversight committee. Morgan State University's vice president and director of intercollegiate athletics, Dina Freeman Patton, has been appointed to the NCAA Division I Football Championship Series, that's FCS Oversight Committee. The prestigious role will see the HBCU administrator serve a 4-year term concluding on June 30th, 2028. Freeman Patton, who is entering her 3rd year at Morgan State, joins a team of administrators tasked with enhancing the development of FCS football with a focus on prioritizing a well-rounded student-athlete experience, student-athletes' personal growth, and leadership development. The Football Oversight Committee will make recommendations related to regular season and postseason football, enhance the student-athlete educational experience, promote student-athlete personal growth and leadership development, and work in conjunction with the appropriate governance entities to provide solutions to issues impacting health and safety of football student athletes. Freeman Patton expressed her excitement about the appointment, stating, "I am excited to be appointed to the FCS Oversight Committee, and I will look forward to advancing the sport of football." Last thing, FCS Oversight Committee supervises procedures for licensing of postseason bowls and qualifications and or selection procedures for the FCS championship. The committee reviews recommendations from the NCAA Division I Football Championship Committee and processes other issues related to the administration of the FCS championship. Brian, what does that, how significant is that we have a HBCU person on this committee? You know, we just came off of having Dr. McClellan serve as the chair of the NCAA basketball selection committee. So what is that saying about our athletic directors here within the HBCU diaspora?
This may not be the take you thought I was going to give, but I'm kind of surprised because your school is a part of a conference that doesn't participate in the playoffs, meaning they don't send their champion. Now, sure, any school could qualify, but you're not an actively engaged member of the playoffs. So it's interesting. I mean, obviously, it's great to have representation, but how far does that go? You know, so that I mean, I'm happy for. I mean, congratulations on the appointment, but again, the difference, you know, whereas Dr. McClellan being a part of the NCAA tournament, every SWAC school gets a chance to be a part of that. And then Dr. McClellan is even able to provide insight for athletic directors into how to improve the conference standing, which they totally ignore. But anyway, I mean, that's another podcast.
That's
a whole nother show. But, you know, just having that knowledge and representation is great. But when you have it, you got to use it. So
can I make a confession, Brian?
Please, I'm sure.
If you would have read that story and asked me that question that I asked you,
yeah,
my reaction would have been exactly the same thing, because that is exactly what I was thinking in so many words.
We've been working together for too long.
But yeah, which I wonder if they really said something about her qualifications and leadership skills. The fact that your conference is not an active participant in at least the playoff portion of FCS. Now, everything else up to the playoffs, your school is an active participant. But yeah, I think that is a significant note that you brought out, and it really shows kudos to Ms. Freeman Patton on the on her selection there. So shout out to Dina Freeman Patton for getting that appointment despite the obstacles of the MEAC conference. Well, that's the last bit of news that I wanted to get out today, Brian. But I do have a couple of other questions before I get into these comments as we head out of here. So, Brian, this is something that's really been bugging me, especially as you know, this is cookout season, Brian, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You know, from Memorial Day through Labor Day is officially cookout season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So just thinking, you know, we've got a lot of these impossible burgers, impossible sausages, impossible bacon, impossible meats out there, correct?
Impossible to eat. Is that even meat? But anyway, go ahead.
That's the question, Brian. So if you are a vegetarian and you eat an impossible burger,
stop it.
Are you still sticking to your vegetarian diet?
if it doesn't have, if it's not made up of a dead animal, then I'm sorry, you can't call it meat.
But that's not the question. So since it's not really meat, and it's made from vegetables and plant-based items.
Why don't you call it
are you still a
Impossible Veggie
vegetarian
Burger?
if you eat a veggie burger, an Impossible Veggie Burger?
I guess so, because again, there's no meat, there's no dead animal that's a part of that. So sure, if that's what you want to still call yourself, call yourself a vegetarian.
So I need a couple people just help me out with that one, because
who's eating that stuff? Who's eating that Impossible Burger? You know,
I ain't gonna lie. I've gone to BK and got an Impossible Whopper a few times.
I think that was the only place I heard they made a good one, and I think I did have one time, but I don't eat it on a regular. I don't eat Burger King. I can't remember the last time I've been in Burger King. So,
bro, I got the app. I will go on Wednesday and get that $3 Whopper out the app when I'm out and about, Brian. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
The Burger King app. Oh, genius. Genius.
I got everybody's app on my phone, man. You know, whenever I'm trying to cut these costs as much as possible, bro.
My God.
From fast food to your basic sit down type restaurant, you know, Denny's, IHOP. I got all the apps on my phone, man.
How do you have room? How do you have room to play games? I don't know. How do you?
That's one thing I don't do on my phone. I probably got about 5 pages worth of apps, 5-6 pages worth of apps on my phone. So,
oh my God.
Anyway, let's go through these couple of comments before we get up out of here, Brian. G Boom. Let's see. Chicken, sausage, corn on the cob, and baked beans.
Traditional,
nice
good classic combo. You got a little bit of corn on the cob. To me, qualifies as a vegetable because it comes in a green stalk. So I consider that vegetable. So you got the meat, you got the vegetables, you got the starch.
Got plenty of protein because you got the baked beans and you got the chicken and the sausage.
Good job, G Boom. Well, good, looks good.
Emmett, when you was talking about too late to eat.
Oh yeah. That's one thing I've done over the last couple of months in my weight loss journey is I've learned how to not eat after a certain time. Like after 7, 8 o'clock, I really don't eat anything. So yeah, it cuts down on the crampiness in the morning and getting up in the middle of the night having to go to the bathroom.
All right, Edwin. Grilling chicken now with pork chops to follow with baked beans and potato salad at home. Man, I have not had any homemade ice cream in about 25 years since my aunt died when I was in college.
Just how do you eat? Okay, give me the down low. How do you even make ice cream at home? What goes into that?
I don't know how she used to make it, but she used to make some of the best homemade ice cream. That's all I can say.
And is it better than Breyers?
Yes,
Breyers. Really? Okay. See, I consider Breyers the staple.
Heavy cream. She used heavy cream.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
Michael Road Dog Reed. Glad to see somebody doing constructive. And we just wanted to give y'all a break. And if y'all haven't done it, and y'all have to cook out watching us, make sure you share this podcast with somebody. So maybe we could pick up a new fan or two today as we are out here putting in this overtime for y'all on this Independence Day. Because I planned on taking this day off.
I did too.
But when the provost calls you gotta. Damn, I can't lie to him.
Turkey wings. Ooh, that sounds good. Are they smoked now? Okay, so Walter, do you smoke the turkey wings? You put them on the grill. What do you do? How do you do with those?
Put them on the grill inside the foil, man.
Is that what you do?
That's what I would do. And make sure you got the wood chips over the charcoal so you get that extra hickory smoke flavor, or the apple wood, depending on what kind of chips you use.
Because that turkey wing is big. I mean, normal wings are like this, and turkey wings would be like, like humongous.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Edwin Moore with my Impossible Comment. Fake hair, fake nails, now fake food.
There you go. Welcome to 2024.
Speaking of impossible stuff, Chuck Hunt, Joey Chestnut assignment, a vegan hot dog company, which disqualified him from today's contest.
That's the equivalent of LeBron James deciding to go sign with a Mexican professional basketball team. And then somehow, even though they only play in the summer, the Lakers come back and say, whoa, since you already signed the deal to play with another professional league, you can't play in the NBA. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Come on, guys. An ice cream machine. Product.
I
guarantee you
I don't even know where those are. Where's that at? What store do you get an ice cream machine from? Don't
I guarantee you my aunt did not bake it in an ice cream machine.
I'm gonna have to go try to figure out where an ice cream machine is. I'd love to see it. I'm not a fan of grilling in foil. I don't know why you do that. I think
it makes the grill a hell of a lot easier to clean when you get done. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but you could coat the grill before you start grilling, and that will help keep sticky meat off the grill, but okay.
Dairy-free sherbet on the front porch.
That just sounds horrible. Dairy-free sorbet. I don't know. I
read that wrong.
What?
I read that wrong. Go ahead.
Is it sherbet or sorbet? Which one? Because that's two different things, right? You thought it was sherbet?
Yeah, I glanced at it. I read it wrong.
Yeah, it's dairy-free though. You might. I'm not putting your business out there, Emmett. I'm wondering if you're lactose. That's the only reason I think you ought to be having some kind of sherbet if you're lactose intolerant.
Yeah, that would be me, dairy-free. Let's see. Where did you find that ice cream machine at, Brian? Here go a few suggestions for you. Walmart, hardware store, Amazon.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Amazon have everything.
I'm gonna go look for one.
We had those ice
cream.
See,
that's we just never did that. That's the one thing I can say my parents never did. My parents never did that. Go to the supermarket and get you some Breyers ice cream. Don't come back with the Kroger brand. Doggone it. Go bring me that's what my daddy would say. I want the Breyers. The Breyers. You got to get the ice cream. You got to get the vanilla flavor, and then you got to get the Neapolitan. That's got the 3 flavors.
All this ice cream talk, you got to be ready to fly home and either stop at Velvet Freeze in St. Louis or Ted Drew's Frozen Custard. That's all I got to say.
Hey, real quick, when's the last time you had a root beer float? You ever had a root beer float? Ooh, sounds like a no. Ooh,
it would have to have been in. I would have to have been in St. Louis at some point in time during the summer. Just had one just because. I've made a float out with Coke, but an actual root beer. I can't tell you the last time.
You get A&W root beer.
No. I can't tell you the last time I've actually had a root beer float. I've had one with Coca-Cola in it. I've even had one with Dr. Pepper in it. I can't tell you the last time
I've had those
one with root beer in it, though.
That's a good substitute. It's a decent substitute if you don't have A&W root beer. So
yeah. All right, Brian, let's pick up the show and get out of here. Let's give people their holidays back, man. So we appreciate y'all joining us today here on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Remember, be safe out there, everybody. If you started today with 10 fingers and 10 toes, I want you to end today with 10 fingers and 10 toes. You can catch me and Brian this Sunday right here on the Black College Sports Network for the BCSN Sports Wrap, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, as we get into some of the latest and greatest in HBCU sports. We'll try to get into an SIAC breakdown. Everything you need to know going into the SIAC Media Day. Don't forget about Saturday. Join my brother Carlos Brown. I'm assuming Carlos is still going to do a show on this Saturday as Carlos, Charles Edmond, A.D. Wheeler Brown, and Coach Van Pettaway break down everything happening inside HBCU sports with a little bit of Southern spin on it. So, am I missing anybody? I think I got everybody out the way. And of course, we'll be back next Tuesday right here on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, and the BCSN Game Time show will be coming to you live from the Black College Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia, next Wednesday morning for the SIAC Media Day. That begins, I believe, at 9 a.m. or maybe 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So breakfast with the BCSN next Wednesday, everybody. That's all we're going to say. So anyway, thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am A.D. Drew, along with my partner, Brian Fulford. And of course, we have the pilot of this ship, Dr. J. Kenyatta Cavil, the dean, or the provost, as we like to call him, of HBCU sports, coming from inside the HBCU sport, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports, along with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab each and every Tuesday and Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow Dr. Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1. On Facebook, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Wait a minute, just got a note from the thing. Oh, the provost says, great show, everybody. Great show. Appreciate you there, Brian. Dream big and continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Brian.
Course.
Lecture altogether
Dismissed.